I feel like we need to talk. I feel like we need to talk. If you're not from where I am, or if you're not a client of mine, you may not know this, but we have been locked down since April. We've been locked down since April. As a hairdresser, I haven't been able to see my clients since April. This is our third provincial lockdown. So last year in 2020, we were locked down from mid-March to about June. Then we were locked down again right after Christmas till February. And now we're locked down again. I don't know when we're gonna reopen. There has been no announcements for reopening. The kids have been homeschooled. They're predicting that maybe salons will reopen July 6th, I believe, but things have changed a lot. With announcements, things have been dragged out a lot. So I don't even know if that is gonna happen. I had a little bit of a heart-to-heart with you guys last week on one of my videos, and it was actually a video on this ponytail extension. And then I started to talk about how I feel like I'm having a little bit of almost like an early midlife crisis, where I'm starting to question like everything that I want in my life and who I am and what I do and who I want to be and what creates a sense of balance and wellness in my life. And I just feel like we need to talk. So I want to talk a little bit about what my journey has been like in the beauty industry, because I think it's going to set the stage for what I'm going to announce later in this video. And I don't really talk about who I am on this channel hardly at all. I really try to focus on making the videos about you guys and not about me, because honestly, who cares about me? We care about you. We care about your hair and making you feel beautiful. And as a service provider, I'm okay with things not being about me, because that is the way it should be. I am an executor of your vision. I am an artist. I am someone that will suggest and guide you in the direction that's going to make you feel beautiful. And I like to power and uplift you. It's not really about me or my life or my family. And, you know, I don't think that it has to be, or that it even should be. So I never talk about me. So then whenever I make these videos, it makes me super uncomfortable, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm not important, or like I think I'm super important, or that you should really care, because you guys have got your own lives to live and your own things that you're worried about. And you're watching this, you know, to bring you up. So having this, you know, diving down into me, I don't know. It just kind of feels like stupid, you know? But I always tell my kids, like, you matter, and you need to find something in life that will bring you joy, and you need to be joyful, and you need to shout to the world that I am important, and I am beautiful, and I am kind, and I'm a good person, and you matter. So I don't know why I don't seem to take that opinion for myself, because I say that to my kids literally every single day. But that's why I decided to do this kind of get ready with me and heart to heart, because I want you guys to hear a little bit more about who I am and how I got into this business and how it's led me down this path. So when I was young, I was like an extremely academic person, and I was a huge overachiever and a big time hardcore perfectionist. Like, to the point where it wasn't even healthy or good. I mean, I'm saying, like, if I got 94 on something, I'd cry because I like lost 6%. It was really an excessive amount of perfectionism. And I've been like that since I was a kid, and it can be completely debilitating. But it can also be a huge gift, because I find that when I put my mind to something, I become so obsessively compulsive with it that I do not let myself not achieve it. And that's just like a personality trait in me. It has led to issues with anxiety. It has led to some issues with even postpartum depression, because it was something I couldn't control, something I couldn't make perfect. I couldn't make my baby sleep. I couldn't make my baby do all the things that is suggested in the baby books, because I read everything compulsively, because I'm so compulsive. And it definitely did in my life, that trait to be perfect and to make everyone happy and to be like a massive people pleaser and impress everyone. It's become a trait that has become debilitating in my life. And I have always had a really hard time overcoming that, and a really hard time getting through that, and kind of recognizing when it's not that important. So after high school, I decided to go to university for psychology. After university, I got asked to work in this research lab by one of my professors, because I did really well in one of these statistics courses. And I was working in this research lab, and the craziest thing happened. So I would go to work day in and day out. I got really good grades, graduated with honors, and I'd be in the research lab, bored out of my mind, because I just didn't really care about psychology. I just didn't really care. And all of these new research things would come out, and at the time I thought I cared, but I didn't. And everyone would be so excited. Everyone would be like, oh my God, this new article got published and it talks exactly about how children process information in this way and cognitive priming and all this stuff, and we gotta read it. And the prof would come down and she'd say like, Gabby, here's a copy of your article, take it home and read it, we'll discuss it tomorrow. And everyone in the lab who was a grad student or had graduated from their undergrad, they were RAs, research assistants. They would be so excited to go home and read about this article. All of them would be like, wow, I can't wait. And I just remember one day, it was like an aha moment where I just felt a sense of dread. I was literally like, oh. And I'm flipping through, I'm like, oh, this article's like 20 pages. It's going to take me the whole night, like frig. How do I get through this? So it seems like I read it, but I didn't. And that's when I realized you can't live your life doing things that you don't like, because if you want to be great, you have to enjoy it, because you won't put in the time to be great if you don't like it. You just won't. You'll choose other things. And in a life where we have limited time, that time needs to be allocated into the things that you're great at. So that day I got home and made the decision, at this point I had already been dabbling in makeup. I was already doing makeup for friends' weddings. I was always asked to do makeup for my friends. I was even like highlighting hair in my dorm room in university. So at this point I had already been dabbling in that. So I already knew that I like loved that. Like it was something that fed my soul. So I quit that job right away and I enrolled in a crazy expensive makeup program called Complexions, and I completed a complete makeup artistry certification. And I remember when I was there that the instructor told us on our graduation, after spending 20 grand and 10 months of your life literally consumed in this program, I was volunteering everywhere that I could. I was doing tons of fashion shows and editorials and portfolio building events and everything for free on the weekend. So I was in school all week, and then I just wanted to learn. I wanted to soak it up. I wanted to be the best, I wanted to be amazing at this. And so I did everything that I could when I was in that school to grow my skill, grow my confidence, grow my reputation, and also make connections with people in the industry who would possibly hire me, right? So if any photographer needed a makeup artist for some type of commercial or for some type of even creative shoot that they were doing where they, couldn't pay for it because everyone was working for free and they were looking for like a junior stylist to come on board to build portfolio, I was always the first one that was like, me, I will do it. And I became completely obsessed with this Cinderella story, like I am absolutely obsessed with how you can take someone who's beautiful, because everyone is beautiful. Everyone has something about them that's beautiful. If you really look at someone with it all off, like me right now, where there's nothing, you can find things about them that's striking. Their mouth, the way their lips are shaped, their cheekbones, their eyebrows, the way their eyes become, like they cat out or they're elongated, or even the quirky people I've worked with. I worked with this one model whose eyes were really like down set. And that was the beautiful thing about her. And that was the thing that you wanted to enhance because it was such a unique feature. And I just became obsessed. I became obsessed with looking at these raw faces and transforming them into something that made them feel amazing. For me, having these palettes was like my superpower. Having the knowledge and the skill to paint someone and turn them around and have them look at themselves and be like, I didn't know that I had that. I didn't know that I could be that. I didn't know that I could look like that. And have them leave with their shoulders back, with their heads up high, with their chin up. It was addictive for me. I loved that. That was the most rewarding, amazing thing ever. I loved making people beautiful, and that's actually why I ended up failing the prosthetics part of the program, because I hated using makeup to turn people into characters that were not like beautiful princess characters. Like whenever we had to do some type of makeup that made someone turn into like a zombie or like a gargoyle or something from Star Trek, I just didn't want to do it. I wanted to make them like a gorgeous Star Trek character. Do you know what I mean? Like my prosthetics project, I made like these crazy little ears to turn this model into like a little pixie, you know, like a little fairy princess. Anyways, I failed it because I just could not do things that were like create like really speckled skin. I just didn't want to, you know. I wanted to take the parts of makeup that empowered women to be the best version of themselves, to bring out that inner light and shine it through. That to me is what makeup has always done. That to me is what hair has always done. So at my graduation ceremony, they told us that out of the 10 people in the program, maybe 2 of us would ever work as full-time stylists, because the industry is so saturated. At the time, the makeup unions weren't taking any makeup artists. There was a freeze. And so you couldn't get into the union because there was not enough work and too many artists. And the makeup agencies that were responsible for booking like fashion editorials, they had such an abundance of stylists as well that they weren't really looking for new people. And that's kind of how the makeup industry was back then. And so I made a point in my mind, being like this overachieving, like perfectionist, anxious, crazy early 20s girl, that I was going to succeed and that I was going to do it and that I would be the person on the set that would make these models transform into these ad campaigns that were magical, and that I was going to be basically the fairy godmother that has her magic wand and is like poof and gives you this beauty and confidence that you didn't know you had. And that's, impactful for me because I was not a beautiful woman growing up. I wasn't. It's just the truth. Like I was never the pretty girl at school. I had braces and a big nose and bad skin. I did. I was an immigrant from Brazil, so I didn't look like all the pretty girls who were blonde with blue eyes and just like perfectly Canadian, what I thought at that time, because that's what I saw in the media. Although now I recognize that it's such a facade, because cultural differences really is what makes you beautiful and unique. And I have so much love for different cultures and skin types and tones. And so I just love working with people of all different ethnicities and finding the beauty in their culture and the beauty within their faces and their skin. But at the time, that's how I felt. I felt like this ugly duckling, and I felt like when I mastered this craft, I became like a superhuman. I became like a super freaking hero. I did. I felt like that. And so for several years, I worked in the Toronto fashion industry. And I just did ad campaigns and I did fashion editorials and I did all of it. And I don't want this video to get dragged on forever, so I won't really tell you what happened, but it just got to this point in that industry where I felt like I needed more stability, for one, because the hours were just crazy. Like I would go on set at 5 a.m. It seems like this really glamorous life, but it's not. It's not glamorous. Like sometimes you do makeup in the back of someone's car. And when you are young, it's amazing. But when you want to have a family, working the set life is hard. And there is a reason why most people on set are in their 20s. If you look around, if you've ever been on set, if you look around, most of the people are young. And it's because it's kind of an unsustainable life for a lot of people. Come here, Pookie. You want to say hi?
Hi.
This is Kai. This is my little guy. So then that's when I met Tony. And Tony is like the love of my life. He is the love of my life. There's no other way to say it. And we wanted to get married and we wanted to have a family. And I just thought, I need something that's going to be more sustainable. So when I was 26, I went to hairdressing school. And I thought, this is the answer. This is the way for me to make people feel beautiful, work in an environment where I'm at the same place every day. I work, normal hours, and I get paid really, really well to do what I love to do. And I'm not, traveling from here to there, because at that time I started getting a lot of contracts because I did end up with an agency. So I was like traveling, I was going here and there and everywhere, and I was always driving like 3 hours. Sometimes I was going by plane to certain things, and it became a little bit unsustainable if I wanted to have the family life that I wanted to have, which is that really involved mom, that goes to all of the concerts and the games and does all of the things. So I went to hairdressing school. And then after that, I ended up working in a salon for a while. And then after I had my first son and I was on maternity leave, which ended up not being maternity leave at all because I took 2 weeks off and then started working again, I took my studio home. And I grew this amazing clientele here. So at first, this worked out perfectly. I did clients in the evenings, I did clients on weekends. I also opened a bridal beauty company where I did updos, makeup, all of it on location for weddings, and that ended up really taking off. So that became a huge part of my business. I was doing weddings every single weekend, and I mean, I still would be if it wasn't COVID. And I started connecting with all of these brides, and then the brides would become clients, and then I'd be doing their hair, and then I'd be doing more weddings on the weekend. And then I had my second son, Ollie. And then it became a lot, you know, because then I had 2 little kids, a baby and a 3-year-old. And I had my wedding business that was fully booked. I would do 40, 50, 60 weddings, sometimes more in a year. That's every single weekend, 2 to 3 weddings a weekend from April until November. Sometimes even going into December. Every weekend without a break. But then I also had hundreds of hair clients that I had built up over the years. So I was doing those Monday to Friday, along with my trials, along with my weddings. And then I decided, when Ollie was 1, to launch YouTube, which is a whole other story for a whole other day. But if you want to hear about it, I can tell you how that started too. You know, it's the typical entrepreneurial problem. Like, do you reduce or scale? And I didn't want to do either. I didn't want to scale. I didn't want employees. You know, I'm very independent. I don't really like managing people, or it's just not really my thing. So I didn't want to scale and get bigger and open a location because that'd be like a whole other can of worms. But I didn't want to like slow down either because I'm always perpetually afraid of like disappointing people. I am just like a serial people pleaser. It's just like a trend in my life. Always, always, always have been that way. And then COVID hit, and I'm not going to go too much into it because I did a whole video about that, about my feelings about that on my Instagram at GlamGirlGabby. If you want to watch that, then head on over there. But a lot changed after COVID hit. When I had Ollie, I had been talking to my friend about how I need to make a change. Like, I can't do this because it's really unsustainable because I have absolutely no free time. It's not even like I can't go for a run or hang out with friends or do anything. Like, I work every second I'm not taking care of my kids. And then I'm taking care of my kids, which I love so much. But there's no space. There's no space for me to like be a person or have a hobby or anything. And after COVID hit, it became hard because I had hundreds of clients that all wanted to come in at the same time. And it's just me. So I have no receptionist, right? So all of a sudden I'm bombarded with messages, like crazy messages. And the first time around, I was like, okay, I can do this. And the second time around, I was like, holy hell, this is tough. And now the third time around, I just don't know if I can do it. Honest to God, I don't know. So I had this epiphany. I had this epiphany during this third lockdown because I thought, you know, since I'm locked down and I actually have time and I can work on my YouTube videos, which bring me so much joy, I'm gonna focus on YouTube and I'm gonna take some courses about things that I like doing. And for the last little while in the salon, I'm gonna be honest, there are some things that I just don't want to do. Like, so many stylists are so excited about all the amazing balayages that are coming out. Balayages are like 4-hour services, and they are incredible, and they require a tremendous amount of precision, a tremendous amount of dedication and time to master the craft of it. And I think it's amazing, but I just don't care. I just don't want to do it. I don't know why. It's just not something that excites me like makeup does or like hair does, you know, updos do. It just isn't. So I was thinking about taking this course called Masters of Balayage, which everyone in the industry is talking about right now. And I'm like, you know, if everyone is doing this, I need to get really good at this because I need to be on par, or I need to be the best, really, which is like kind of my perspective all the time. And if I don't take this course, then I'm not going to know how to do it, you know, in this current way, because everything in the beauty industry changes really fast. So I just like couldn't press like enter on my MasterCard. I was like, I just don't care that much, you know? So then I found this UK-based course for bridal stylists on these incredible updos. And I was so excited and happy to do it. And the reason that this, you know, this has gotten really draggy, but the reason that I'm telling you all of this is because I have had another aha moment. You know how I told you when I was working in the research lab, I had this moment where I was like, you know, I don't want to learn about why children process information in different ways. I didn't want to learn, like I didn't really care. And I feel like right now with hair, I don't know if this is going to be forever, but at this point where I'm at in my career and where I'm at with my family, having a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, There's only so much time in the day to care about something other than your kids. There's only so much time. And I really do believe that in order to be like absolutely amazing at something, you have to put in the work and you have to put in the time. And I feel like lately I'm good at things, but I'm not great. I feel like lately when I look at my portfolio, it's good, but is it like, whoa? I don't know. And part of me has lost that drive to make it that way. And I think it's because part of me has lost interest in what I do most of the time, which is hair. 90% of my life is doing hair. You know, it's funny because I'm always working in the business and never on the business. I almost became out of touch with what brings me joy and what I want to work on. And I would always keep thinking, oh, I need to work more on this. I need to get better at this for YouTube because that's what I love. Or I need to get better at updos because I want to be the best in the city. But when it came to actually doing it, there was no time. There was no time to execute it because I was constantly working. There was no time to get better at skills. There was no time to do anything until we were locked down, you know? And it's been this full circle experience because now I just feel like my cognitive science lab is now doing hair, you know, where it's like everyone's like, oh my God, there's a new balayage technique, there's new lightener, there's new this, and I don't really care. And I hate that I don't care because I want to be the best. But when there is an experience to learn a crazy updo that no one in this region can do, I'm there, I'm committed, I'm on that Facebook Live doing it right beside the instructor. And I've just come to this realization that in order to have confidence takes putting in the work. Being the best takes putting in the work. The only way you can put in the work is if you have time to put in the work. The only way that I can offer these virtual consultations with you guys from all around the world and I can suggest these tips and tricks for your individual hair type, recommend products, recommend how to cut it, how to ask your hairdresser, the verbiage to use when you're looking for something to talk to your hairdresser about. The only way that I can meet you guys on Zoom is if I'm not doing 1,000 clients a month, you know? So I guess I need to get to the point without beating around the bush. This video is gonna be like forever long, but this is like a therapy session. Me and the camera and me and you. Thanks for being there for me, boo. So without beating around the bush, I guess what I'm trying to say is I've decided to stop cutting and coloring. And I know that some of you who have supported me all these years are going to be upset about it. And I know it's gonna kill me to disappoint you. I'm sorry about the noise, you guys. It's everyone is home and it is so hard to control when people turn on water. That's water. I am only one person and I want to be great at what I want to be great at. And that means I want to be great at being a consultant for you guys online. I want to be great at doing transformations. I want to be great at advising you what to do with your hair, how to cut it, how to style it, what products to use. I want to be a great teacher and advisor for you. I just think at this point, there's no time for me to be everything. And I need to be what brings me joy, what lights up my life, and what I think I'll be the most useful for. And I think at this point, I think I need to niche down to blow up. I need to niche down to give you the best possible experience and service that you've had, to make a difference for you in your life and to be someone that's different than everyone else. I just don't want to be an okay stylist. I want to be an amazing stylist. I want to be able to change your lives with advice or suggestions or a bomb bridal look that's mind-blowing to you. I need to be that person. And I also need to be a mom, and I need to have balance, and I need to be happy, and I need to not just live to work. And that's what my life is right now. I live to work. And I need to be more intentional with the work so that my execution is better, your experience is better, and my children are happier and everyone is happier. For those of you who have given me 10 years of loyalty, dedication, support, for those of you who have come and seen me every 4 to 6 weeks for over 10 years, oh goodness me. Not the makeup. The makeup is too fresh to cry, okay? I tell my brides this, pull it together. Pull it together. I wanna thank you, I really do. The conversations behind the chair have been life-changing. They've been uplifting. I've created connections with you guys that I could never imagine. I've made some of my best friends in the world through the chair. I have been so touched by your willingness to open up to me and be a part of my life and to have you as a part of mine. I've looked forward to your appointments. But now it's time for me to close this chapter and see what else my life can do and see where else my life can take me. And I hope that you understand. And you guys gotta know when you've got your next special event, you know who to call. I'm your girl. You know that. So I'll catch you in the next one. I love you. Bye.